near the Kenyatta National Hospital on Sunday night. Lichuma, who is currently receiving treatment at Nairobi Women's Hospital, was allegedly abandoned near Kenyatta National Hospital by unknown individuals before being rescued by border riders who rushed him to hospital for medical attention. His family said that he remains traumatized and is not yet in a position to explain who allegedly took him, where he was held, or the circumstances surrounding his disappearance.
Wakasema wamezunguka police station zote wajampata. Na mi kwa sababu nilikuwa nimefika nikasema hata mimi naendelea kuzunguka. Na jana kuanzia asubuhi wakati tulikuwa na kwa media bado ilikuwa nikatoka na pikipiki nikaanza kuzunguka, nimezunguka Mama Lucy, nikaenda paka Kiambu, nimekuja nikaenda City Mortuary, hizi City Mortuary zote nimezunguka. Lakini ikielekea mwendo wa saa 3:30 kitu ikaniambia niende Kenyatta kwa sababu ndio hospitali siko nimefika. Iwapo sikuwa nimeuliza kama walifika Kenyatta, lakini kitu niliambia niende huko Kenyatta. Na wakati nilienda nilizuiliwa kwanza kuingia kwa sababu gani sikuwa najua huko watu wanafanya nini Kenyatta ukitaka kwenda kuangalia mtu. Na kufika pale kwa gate kapata masoja, nikajaribu kuambia wakaniambia saa ya kuona mtu hapa hakuna. Lazima nikuje paka kesho. Nikamwambia hapana, ni mtu natafuta na sijui kama ako hapa. Wakakataa kabisa, ikabidi nikaongea nao, wakaniambia saa kama umekataa wewe enda. Wakanionyesha kwa emergency, kwenda kwa emergency nikamwambia ni watu wengi wamekuja hapa. Lakini nikiwa pale nikaangalia nikaona mtu ana nguo. Ana nguo, sasa kuangalia hivi nikaona kumbe ndugu yangu juu ako na rasta, lakini faida venye alikuwa amejikunja chini, hakuwa na nguo, anakaa kama mnyama.
Responsibility now lies with IPOA because these are clear excesses of the police service, and the single institution that is required to investigate police excesses is IPOA. And by the way, we have not seen IPOA here to date. So we are even questioning, you know, what people say return on investment of IPOA. What are they doing?
We have already come to that conclusion that even if death comes or death threats come or even if threats come, we still keep on fighting. So abduction, torture, arrests and intimidation, online trolling will not stop us from speaking.
A youth who gained national attention after entering parliament during the 2024 Gen Z protest has been arraigned in court to face charges of malicious damages to property and unlawful entry into parliament. Ezekiel Nzioki Kiame, popularly known as Mr. Speaker Sir, appeared before the court where he denied charges of destroying property allegedly worth 41 million Kenyan shillings during the protest. His defense lawyer Babu Owino applied for his release on bail, arguing that the accused was entitled to bail under the law pending the determination of the case. The court granted the application, releasing Ezekiel on a cash bail of 100,000. The case is scheduled for mention on July 14th, when the court is expected to give further directions as the trial process continues.
All these charges that you pressed against our client, they don't make sense at all. I was in parliament that day when the alleged offense occurred. The only challenge, the only problem that these Gen Zs committed is that they wanted the high cost of living be reduced. They wanted jobs. They didn't want the finance bill to be passed. And they had a right to do so. Parliament is a public place. One of the charges that is being pressed against our client is that he accessed the precincts of Parliament in contravention of Section 31(1) of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act. This is...
Families from Mathare, Kidhirai, Umoja and Juja staged demonstrations today, and this is of yesterday, demanding that the government provide information on the whereabouts of 4 young men allegedly missing after suspected abductions by security officers. The protesting families said they have been unable to contact their loved ones for several days and are seeking urgent answers regarding their safety and whereabouts. The families insisted that authorities must provide clarity on their their disappearance and take immediate steps to ensure the safe return. They issued a 24-hour ultimatum to the government, warning that if no information is provided, they'll stage another demonstration tomorrow to the Ministry of Interior to demand accountability and press for the safe recovery of the missing youths.
Kuna watu wenye walijitambulisha kama maafisa wa polisi wakiwa watu watatu, wakaingia hapo ndani na kuchukua simu yake. Wakati aliuliza kwa nini mnachukua simu, alisema waliwaambia sisi ni maafisa na tunakuhitaji station, na wakamshika na wakampiga pingo na wakamweka kwa gari ya black ambaye haikuwa hata na number plate. Niliona nimereport Buruburu police station, nimereport Muthaiga, nimereport Utali, nimereport John Saga, nimereport huku kote, wanasema wajui mahali walipo. Nimeenda mpaka kwa DCI ya Buruburu, anitrakia simu, aniambia simu iko wapi, akanitrakia namba, akaniambia simu ilizimwa saa 4:44 along Kagundo Road Charina, mali alikuwa tu ananyolewa. Leo is the 10th day, huyu mtu kama yuko mahali yako atujui. Serikali ulituambia, Murkomet, kuna siku ulisema wewe serikali mnajua mali mtu analala na mali mtu anaamka. Yuko wapi huyu? Where did your men took my husband? Where did they get him? Wamemfungia wapi?
Vijana wawili wamepotea, Mike na Dizo. Ukiangalia kia Michael walichukua kijana, ukiangalia Mabatini walichukua kijana. Tumepea government 24 hours. Kama watatoa Mike, kesho tutatoka.
On a different story, the High Court has commenced hearing a petition challenging the sale of shares in Safaricom, with both the government and the petitioners presenting their arguments before a 3-judge bench. The case is being heard by Justices Francis Gikonyo, Roslyn Aborili, and Tabitha Oya, who are tasked with determining the legality of the controversial share transaction. The government defended the deal, telling the court that the sale of the shares to Vodacom was conducted in full compliance with the law and followed all required legal procedures. However, the petitioners, led by Wiper Party leader and senior counsel Kalonzo Musyoka, argued that the transaction would give Vodacom a 55% stake in Safaricom. They further claimed that the deal could compromise the management of public resources, including the security of Kenya's data. The court is expected to consider the argument before issuing further directions on the matter.
A measure of being dispossessed of this vital national asset, which will now clearly be foreign owned.
No illegality has been demonstrated. Policy, my lord, is for the executive and the legislator. Legality is for the courts. It will be clear that the prayer sought must be declined.
Crossing on to a different story, President William Ruto has reaffirmed the national government's commitment to working closely with the Nairobi County government to transform the capital into a cleaner, safer, and more modern city, saying Nairobi remains the face of Kenya and deserves world-class infrastructure. Speaking during the official commissioning of the Ngong Road, Naivasha Road flyover, the president announced that the government has set aside $2 billion to upgrade Nairobi's storm water drainage and sewerage systems in a bid to reduce the frequent flooding that affects the city. Ruto said the investment comes as weather experts have warned of the possibility of heavy El Nino rains, adding that the government is taking early measures to protect lives, property, and critical infrastructure.
County ya Nairobi ifanye kazi na national government. Si tumekubaliana? Tufanye kazi, tuondoe takataka, tuwakishe mataa. Mimi nataka niwaulize, munipatie tu nafasi kidogo na huyu gavana wenu. Kufikia Disemba mwaka huu, hii mataa yote ambayo imezimika na zile zingine, kila kijiji tutaweka mataa ya kutosha, hii Nairobi iwe 24-hour economy. Nyie mnanielewa? Na vile vile ile tatizo ya takataka, hiyo takataka bado mimi ninashughulikia na huyu gavana wenu. Tunataka kusafisha hii Nairobi, takataka yote tumalizane nayo. Na vile vile nyinyi mnajua tunangojea mambo ya El Nino. Na kwa El Nino hii Nairobi itakuwa na mafuriko. Mimi nimetoa pesa ya serikali shilingi bilioni 2 Wiki hii tutaanza sasa kushughulikia mambo ya drainage, na tumekubaliana na city ya Nairobi na gavana wenu vile tutashirikiana engineers wa serikali ya kitaifa na engineers wa county. Tutafanya kazi pamoja ndio wananchi tena wa Nairobi wasiangaishwe na mafuriko. Nairobi iweze kutembea hata kama saa ile inanyesha. Tuko na hii mto yetu. Hii Nairobi si tulikubaliana hii mto kuanzia hapa juu mpaka kule Ruai. Hiyo mto tumekubaliana tarehe 15 Januari tutakuwa tumemaliza hiyo kazi, kusukuma hiyo kazi. Hawana agenda, hawana mpango, hawana maono. Ati kazi yao ni matusi, ati kazi yao ni ukabila, ati kazi yao ni chuki, ati kazi yao ni vipindi, ati kazi yao ni fitina. Watuletee fitina taifa letu la Kenya. Watu wa Nairobi tunaelewana jameni? Nairobi si ni ya Wakenya wote? Ni yetu sisi zote ama si yetu sisi zote? Hapa Nairobi ndio Kenya.
President William Ruto has officially signed into law the 2026 County Revenue Allocation Bill during a ceremony held this morning at State House, Nairobi, marking a key milestone in Kenya's fiscal decentralization framework. The new law sets out the framework for the equitable sharing of nationally collected revenue among all 47 counties, while also strengthening the governance and management structures of devolved units across the country. Under the 2026 Revenue Allocation Framework, counties will collectively receive 429 billion from the national government. This represents an increase of 13 billion compared to 415 billion located in the 2025-2026 financial year. The government says the revised allocation is aimed at enhancing service delivery at the county level, improving infrastructure development, and ensuring more balanced economic growth across regions.
Mandera County, Chairman of the Finance and Budget Committee of the Senate, Senator Ibrahim Ali Roba. Pursuant to Article 218 Constitution, the bill sets out in a schedule. Your Excellency, the bill also sets out budget ceilings for the current expenditure.
On a different story this morning, Deputy Inspector General of Police Gilbert Masengeli has called on parents and guardians to take full responsibility in guiding children and instilling strong moral values, warning that lapses in parenting are contributing to rising cases of indiscipline and youth-related crime. Speaking during a public event, Masengeli emphasized that parents remain the first teachers of their children and must actively participate in their upbringing by setting clear boundaries and supporting disciplinary measures taken by schools. He noted with concern that some parents have neglected their role in moral guidance, a situation he said has fueled increasing cases of misconduct and criminal behavior among young people. Masengeli urged parents to work closely with learning institutions in addressing indiscipline, stressing that cooperation between families and schools is essential in shaping responsible citizens.
I want to talk to the parents. Mumesahau jukumu lenu. Tumesahau jukumu letu. Let us take charge of our children, teach them the right way of the Lord. When you teach them the way to respect and obey God, they'll never go wrong. You spare the rod, you spoil the child. Toto. Waheshimu wazazi katika Bwana, kwa sababu hiyo ndio amri pekee yake iko na ahadi, si ndio? Respect your parents so that your days may be more. Sisi kama polisi hatuna mambo mengi, ni kuhakikisha wewe usalama wako, uhai wako na mali yako. Upende tutakulinda, usipende tutakulinda.
Teachers living with disabilities in Meru County have formed a new association aimed at defending their rights and improving their welfare in the workplace, citing ongoing discrimination and challenging working conditions despite existing legal protection. Through their chairperson, Mugira Gitonga, the teachers said that although laws exist to safeguard persons with disabilities, many still face unfair treatment, limited opportunities, and unfavorable working environment within learning institutions. The association announced that it will formally present petitions to employers and education authorities to push for improved workplace accessibility, fair job allocation based on ability, and faster processing of tax exemption applications for teachers with disabilities.
Mwalimu ni mwalimu mlemavu, amepata cheti cha serikali, amepata ya kuwa amekubaliwa kuwa mlemavu, amepata ingine ya kuwa amekuwa tax exempt, lakini akifikisha hizo makaratasi zake kwa ofisi ya mle anaye anamwajiri, the TSC employer, unakuta those documents stay there for so long, kwa sababu ukipeleka barua zako leo na unataka kuwa tax exempt, unaweza kaa mwaka mzima na kuna mipango ulikuwa nayo na hujaweza kufanya. In most cases, promotions are discriminative. The law is very clear. 5% allocation minimum for persons with disability. Kwa sababu hii CBA, hii career progression guideline, inasema that teachers will be rewarded based on hard work. Then, if my environment is not conducive, then the school environment is not disability friendly, will I have good output? I will not.
Changamoto zile ziko ni mostly ni zile ambazo zinaweza katatuliwa sana na ambazo nyinyi kama wanahabari mnaweza katusaidia.
Moving on to a different story, security officers in Shauri Yako, Omabay County have arrested 40 suspects in a major security operation targeting a criminal gang known as Ronco Boys following a recent surge in security incidents in the area. According to officials, the coordinated operation was launched to dismantle the gang, which has been linked to a series of robberies and violent attacks targeting residents, particularly during night hours. Omabay County Commissioner Ronald Mwewe said many of those arrested are aged between 16 and 19, expressing concern of the increasing number of young people involved in criminal activities. He noted that the government is intensifying efforts to restore security in the area and warned that authorities will not tolerate criminal gangs terrorizing residents. Police reports indicate that members of the gang are mainly school dropouts, while others are already facing pending criminal cases in court, including charges related to robbery with violence.
Mwalimu ni mwalimu mlemavu, amepata.
Still very young, you still have a future. Say no to being recruited into goons. Say no to being recruited into gangs. Take that energy to class, take a pen, take a book, sit down, listen to your teachers. The future belongs to you. You need to protect it, you need to take care of it, avoid people who are going to waste you. And as a security team, we will not sleep. We will not sleep. We will crack down all the criminal gangs. We will crack down all the gangs.
On a sad story, traders at Kaplong Market in Soti constituency are counting heavy losses after devastating fire razed more than 30 shops, destroying property and merchandise worth an estimated millions of shillings, according to market chairman Collins Langata. The blaze broke out in one of the shops before spreading rapidly to neighboring stalls, leaving a trail of destruction and reducing goods of unknown value to ashes. Business owners were left devastated as they watched their livelihoods go up in flames, with many losing their entire stock in the incident. Residents and traders have criticized the Bomet County government, accusing it of delayed response that they say allowed the fire to spread unchecked. They are now calling for improved emergency response mechanisms and better fire safety measures to prevent similar disasters in future.
Mimi nilikuwa nauza vitu vya elektroniki na vitu waya vya stima, na vitu vyangu vimeweza kuchomeka zaidi ya recognition, na hata hatujui tutaanzia wapi. Saizi hatujui tupeleke wapi vitu, kwa sababu hatuna store, hatuna mali popote. Tunaomba tu tusaidiwe.
Tulitoa vitu kwa maduka karibu 17, lakini kwa jumla zile maduka ziliweza kuchomeka kwa siku ya leo ni more than 30 ama karibu 32, na hakuna injury yeyote ama hakuna mtu yeyote aliweza kuumia. Ni vitu tu zilichomeka, watu walipoteza mamilioni ya pesa, wafanyabiashara.
Hiyo gari vile ilifika hapa tena haikuwa na maji. Number 2, hizo machine zao ya kufungua hizo pipes zingine hazikuwa na ya kufungia na ya kufunga.
Thank you for watching the first segment on Morning Live EBN TV. We are taking a very short commercial break. We're coming back with the newspaper review. Please be around.
You are watching EBN TV, transforming your world.
EBN TV cares about the growth of your business. To advertise with us, call 0725 386 501 or 0740 653 453. EBN TV, transforming your world.
You are watching EBN TV, transforming your world.
Are you ready for an uplifting experience? On Your Faith Today, dive deep into the life-changing message from the Word of God. Join Reverend Felix Kavoy as he shares powerful insights that will inspire, encourage, and strengthen your faith.
It is one thing to receive a prophetic word. It is another thing altogether to see that prophetic word come to pass in your life.
But that's not all. Experience special sessions of worship that will stir your soul and draw you closer to God. Prepare to be moved, uplifted, and connected with His Word as we come together in faith. Catch Your Faith Today every Tuesday and Thursday from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Tune in and let your spirit be renewed.
You are watching EBN TV, transforming your world.
You've seen them on TV.
Nakushukuru Mungu wangu kwa kunifikisha hapa.
But do you know their stories? Come with me.
If people look at me
Yes.
Even before they hear me, will they see Jesus?
Wezi ambia watu mimi am a worshiper, na wakati you are worshiping people can't encounter God.
Ukisoma hiyo inabidi sana katika ile maisha yako hata kama kwamba hauimbi.
Join me, Teddy Psalmist Mwana wa Ngolo Mosio, every Tuesday and Thursday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. only on EBN TV.
Sports isn't just a game. It's passion.
He's done it. Jakub Mensik is the champion in Miami.
Drama.
Man, oh, come on now.
In the thrill of the unexpected. From the stadiums to the streets, we bring the game to you.
We bring you exclusive insights from the pros, bold predictions, and in-depth analysis like never seen before.
Get ready for the action, the controversy,
and this is bubbled over. Montez shown red,
and the moments that define greatness.
You are watching EBN TV, transforming your world.
The last day of June, this is 30th, and this is Morning Live on EBN TV. My name is Jeffrey Kimayo Somba. Welcome to the very last and the second segment of Morning Live, and this is the newspaper review and what's stomped on the top pages of the Daily Nation and the Standard is almost one and the same thing. But before we get to the dailies this morning, there is something that I need to know, and it's all about the rules, the limits, and the protection of an activity. And we're starting with the roles, whereby we're looking at one of the first roles or role is advocacy, where they speak out on issues affecting individuals or communities. Then the second role is public education, where they inform people about their rights and important social issues. Then we're looking at the third role, which is mobilization, organizers or campaigns, meetings, protests, or community initiatives. The fourth role is all about monitoring, where observes and reports human rights violations or government actions. The third is representation, where acts as a voice for marginalized or vulnerable groups. And I think that is very important. It's all about representation, where they act as a voice for marginalized or vulnerable groups. Now the sixth and the last one and the roles is influencing policy, where it engages with leaders and institutions to promote legal or policy changes. And we're also looking at the limits where they're not supposed to extend, or we're looking at extremes where they're not supposed to go. And one of them is they must operate within the law and respect the rights of others. Number two, they should not incite violence, hatred, or discrimination. Number three, must avoid spreading false or misleading information. The fourth one about the limits, they cannot interfere unlawfully with public order or the rights and freedoms of other people. The last about the limits is number five, should respect confidentiality and ethical standards when handling sensitive information. The last one is very key. It's about the protection of an activist, where we're looking at the freedom of expression and the right to express opinions and advocate peacefully. And the second one is freedom of association and assembly, the right to form organizations and hold peaceful meetings or demonstration. The third one, it's about protection from discrimination, where activists should not be targeted because of their beliefs or lawful activities. The fourth one, access to justice. They have the right to legal protection and fair treatment if their rights are violated. The fifth one is personal security, where governments have responsibility to protect activists from threats, harassment, intimidation, or violence related to their lawful work. The last and the sixth one is the due process, where if accused of an offense, activists are entitled to fair hearing and legal information. I thought that's something you needed to know this morning. Now, we've got the Daily Nation this morning, and we've got the Kenya's Board and newspaper, The Standard, and we're starting with The Standard. And the biggest question there, Mr. President, why? Mr. President, why? Now, we're looking at that day where 2 days ago, Mathare-based activist Davis Lichuma was found barely alive after he was reportedly incommunicado, tortured, and damned in critical condition at Kenyatta National Hospital. Reportedly arrested by police on the same day are yet to be found. These alleged atrocities targeting government critics, despite President William Ruto's pledge to end abductions, are spine-chilling. Yet, despite the resurgence of such incidents, the president has remained silent, raising troubling questions about his administration's commitment to protecting the rights of all Kenyans. Mr. President, the buck stops with you, and I think this is a feedback that the bank is stopping with you, because he has been promising that abductions will stop. He also promised he wants to be trusted more than another president, than another leader. But what we're seeing is contrary to what he promised. And that's why the Standard is saying that the bank, Mr. President, stops with you. Now, the alleged torture and enforced disappearances of Kenyans by those entrusted with enforcing the law will inevitably shape your legacy. And we are checking from page 4, 6, and 7, where Gen Z protester Davis Lichuma found ill after alleged abduction, and we're looking at activists known for carrying the Constitution during protest found in hospital. Actually, it's very clear, and everyone saw what Davis Lichuma, the activist, was carrying on that very, very fateful day, and the day of Gen Z's anniversary, actually the second anniversary. Now, he was carrying a Constitution on his end. He was not carrying a weapon. He was not inciting. He was not actually the sentiments he was making were not against the right of another person, was not infringing to the rights or even to the freedom of another person. But he was attacked, he was tortured, he was traumatized, and it's very clear he was carrying a Constitution on his end. How powerful is a Constitution, and how harmful can that Constitution be if someone carrying the same can be armed and tortured to such an extent? Now, he had been reported missing for days, with rights groups alleging abduction and torture, and that's what we saw. He was dumped around Kenyatta Hospital, and he was transferred to Nairobi Women's Hospital. Now we're looking at Davis, who pictured Naomi Misata, friend to Davis Lichuma, visits him at the Nairobi Women's Hospital yesterday. Lichuma was transferred there after being found at the Kenyatta National Hospital days after he was abducted on Thursday, 25th. Now, he looked frail, in pain and confused. He appeared like he had not eaten for days. He could not recognize anyone, did not want to be touched. He was traumatized, and this is Davis Lichuma's brother. We're still following on the same. From page 6 and 7, we're looking at fresh abductions raise alarm over state repression, where new claims of enforced disappearances after the Gen Z anniversary protest have reignited fears of government clampdown. Now, rights groups accuse security agencies of targeting state critics and silencing dissent through fear. and intimidation. We can see pictured police mounted a roadblock at Allsops, thicker road blocking vehicles from entering Nairobi city center during Gen Z protest anniversary. And that's a story you can also move on and read for yourself. Now on page 7, we're looking at detectives linked to attempted abduction of Standard editor, where lawyers' efforts to meet Crime Research and Intelligence Bureau, this is CRIB, aired in Nakuru did not succeed, where Kiprotich escaped an abduction attempt along Mercy Njeri, Masto Road on Saturday morning. Now, we're looking at some investigations into attempted abduction on Standard Media Group Associate Editor Alex Kiprotich. Continue independent investigations have uncovered new details linking the incident to detectives attached to Crime Research and Intelligence Bureau in Nakuru. Now, that's page 7, then page 2 of the Standard newspaper this morning. We're looking at inside a 70-year land battle tearing Angata Barikoi apart. Then decades-old the conflict over land identity and historical claims repeatedly plunged Angata Barikoi into violence, where families have been displaced while communities continue struggling to break cycles of bloodshed and mistrust. Now, we're looking at competing claims where the dispute entered a new phase during government land adjudication exercises carried out in the 1970s and 1980s. As customary land tenure was converted into registered land ownership, surveyors established adjudication sections intended to formalize property rights. And we can see police officers on patrol at the expansive Modera farm in Mau Narok following a perennial dispute between the Koinange and Mpoe families. Now, we're looking at some details and some information at a glance, where Angata Barikoi and Angata Barikoi lies in Transmara West constituency, and this is Narok County near the Kenya-Tanzania border. Then the conflict revolves around competing claims of a land linked to the Moyoi and Angata Barikoi adjudication sections, with the different communities citing historical occupation settlement patterns and legal ownership documents. Now, Syria, Maasai, Kipsigis and Kuria communities are dominant tribes in the region. Now, the disputed land, Transmara Moyoi 2, locally known as Kailolong, measuring approximately 2,561.44 hectares, about 63 acres, and easy nizile acres ACRES. So is converted in that is at the center of legal and ownership dispute. Now, page 3, we're looking at families counting losses after security operation, where GSU operation left hundreds of families in Angata Barikoi homeless and shattered livelihoods. The government has since promised accountability and compensation for affected residents. That these promises from the government they are too much, and they normally take too long to eat or even to target fulfillment. What did my house do? What did my sufuria do? I am a widow trying to raise my children. Why did I have to lose everything? This is from Gladys Rotich. She's a victim of inside the 70 land battle tearing Angata Barikoi apart. You can see the number of people affected by the same, and it is affecting the very, very weak and the very, very vulnerable families. Now, we had covered page 4, and page 5 is about business. You can check it for yourself. Then page 7, 6 and 7 we had already covered, but there's business there below on page 7. You can check it for yourself. And we're looking at Nairobi, and this is national news, where a lawyer wants NTSA's punitive vehicle inspections rules altered, and you can read that for yourself. Now, there is also another promise here about the Nithi or Nithi Bridge, where Ruto revives Nithi Bridge project amid funding questions. Now, our president says 7 billion is set aside for the construction of the deadly highway black spot, where residents and stakeholders seek clarity on funding, timelines, and compensation details. Then, now, so statement from President William Ruto: we have allocated 7 billion for construction of Nethe Bridge. The contractor is on site after we completed the process of compensation for the land. The work is on progress. Is a matter that has troubled the country for 30 years. Yes. Now, Mr. President is saying that we have allocated 7 billion for construction of Nethe Bridge. Now, the contractor is on site. Now, when you come to now that may be a revelation here, you see our residents, the stakeholders seek clarity on funding, timelines, and compensation details. This is to mean that is something that has not materialized. But Mr. President is saying that the contractor is on site, and this is something that he said, I think, more than 3 months ago, and we still need to know if the contractor is on site this morning, because we are looking at the issues of funding, the issues of timelines, and the issue of compensation details. So those affected and victims are looking forward to seeing this promise comes into fulfillment. Now, to page 9 of the Standard this morning, our Kenya pressed on with 3 billion project despite forgery claims, and the contract was awarded to Laffy Construction Company, although it wasn't the cheapest bid. Now, the China Railway say documents claiming it had entered into a contractual relationship with Laffy were forged. We're looking at 3.013. This is billion shillings. Sum of contract awarded to Laffy Construction Company to upgrade Masara Mohuru Bay Road to bitumen standards. Competing bidder Recons General Services had submitted an evaluated bid of 2.777 billion. We're looking at a public notice here. We're looking at renewal of business. We're looking at a renewal of unified business permits, and I think this is for your information if you're in the business sector. Now, the Nairobi City County uses on-source revenues collection from unified business permits to finance county development and service deliveries. Now, Nairobi City County government has embarked on vigorous inspections and verification of permits, top-up of charges, and enforcement exercise to confirm and ensure compliance with Nairobi City County Trade Licensing Act 2019 in all the 17 counties. If you're interested, you can read that story from part 2 of page 9 on the Standard newspaper this morning. Now, we're looking at page 10, and there's also national news, where our persistent gaps continue to undermine Kenya's health reforms. This is about SHA, and it was a migration from NHIF to SHA. Now, despite sweeping healthcare reforms, hospitals continue to grapple with the staff shortages and funding gaps, where corruption, concerns, and service delivery failures are undermining efforts to achieve universal health coverage. And we can see picture the Social Health Authority headquarters in Nairobi. Then we're looking at 31.2 million, and this is Kenyans have registered with SHA, but fewer than 5 million actively remit monthly premiums, raising concerns about the scheme's long-term sustainability. Now, about health, away from that story, new digital system will improve hospital services, and this is a promise from CS Health, Aden Duale. Now, we're looking at a business here about Williamson T. Kenya PLC, and you can read it for yourself. I think it's a financial report. Now, page 12, when a sport crisis overlap, DRC's World Cup rise amid Ebola surge. Now, we're looking at pictured healthcare workers celebrate with survivors of Ebola virus as they leave hospital after being declared cured in Ituri, Eastern DRC, and the Ebola treatment center of the Evangelical Medical Center on June 23rd, 2026, and this is of last week on Tuesday. Now, as DRC team advance in the World Cup, an Ebola outbreak at home continues to spread. The situations test the country's resilience on 2 fronts. We are looking at daily outbreak where 300 is the death toll, and the number of Congolese killed by the current Ebola outbreak declared on May 15th in Eastern DRC, according to the DRC National Public Health Institute. Now we're looking at Nairobi, where Omtata demands details on Nairobi Park projects, and I think there were some demonstrations where Maraga, the former Chief Justice, was arrested. I think this is two weeks ago, and Omtata here is demanding details on Nairobi Park projects. So we shall be following up to see any news story or any development from the same. Now in Nairobi again, we're looking at CUE, and this is Catholic University ordered to audit dental surgery courses in Moi and Nairobi. Now we're looking at Education Cabinet Secretary Migosi Ogamba as the Commission for University Education. Sorry, it is not Catholic University, it's the Commission for University Education to carry out an audit on dental training programs offered by Moi University and the University of Nairobi. Business again on page 13, page 14, we're looking at the opinion and the standard, where we must also pay close attention to learner well-being. Let us not become too focused on academic achievement to forget broader development needs too of learners. Academic success and learner wellness are not competing priorities. This is the opinion on the standard this morning, and this is from Julius Ogamba, Education Cabinet Secretary. This is a true thing, and this is a principle that we need, or that need to be followed, so that maybe the crisis that we are seeing in schools may come a bit low. Now we're looking at editorial on the standard this morning, where we're looking at fees expand pressure on government, not parents, and this is sorry, you can check for yourself as far as the editorial on the standard is concerned. Now we're looking at the caricature this morning, and we're looking at someone saying that you should go back, and is carrying or lifting a machete on himself, and there's someone who is running away from the possible attack. And now below we're looking at someone kicking a ball and saying that to you country, and this is to mean that you have to get back to you country. Remember what happened to NTV and the Monitor Daily on Uganda. So if you can check that caricature, you'll well understand what it means. Now on ample front, Kenya must refuse to receive rejected EU asylum seekers. That is from page 14. Page 15, we're looking at a collection of stories, and you can check for yourself. Then we're looking at also opinion on page 16, where pastor, thought leader, writer, and theological student serving as associate pastor at Membley Chapel in Nairobi. Now below, Ruto Steve with standard and the old story of a naked king. Now we're looking at Micaiah was different. He was somewhat reluctantly, because he would not simply echo the royal mood. Abscomblin was telling, I hate him, for he never prophesied good concerning me, but evil. The king did not first ask whether Micaiah was truthful. He disliked him because his message was inconvenient. Now air travel, airline disruption is structural reality of post-COVID aviation. Now I think I'm ending there with the standard. I'm getting the Daily Nation, where the first story or the top story resembles the story on the Standard newspaper, where enforced disappearances, human rights groups say some people are still missing. Now we're looking at abduction victims harrowing ordeals. Now we can see Michael Gige, and people saying that he looks like the first president of this country, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. So if you're interested in looking at it, check the Daily Nation on the top page, where I am pained everywhere, my head, waist, back, and the rest of my body. I cannot talk much at the moment. What I need now is proper medical attention and treatment. Now that is from Michael Gige. Now we're looking at Benson Shikala. He's an abductee also. He's the brother to Davis Lichuma, the activist who was abducted and later found dumped around Kenyatta Hospital. Now, he was very angry, deranged, and if you touched him, he wanted to escape. He was fearful, very afraid, and did not know anyone. He was disoriented, and this is Davis Lichuma's elder brother. Now, Hussein Khalid now is the director of Focal Africa. They were beaten. They were being asked who was funding them, where they got their body cams from, because they had the cameras to cover police excesses. Now, human rights defender Davis Lichuma recuperating at Nairobi Women's Hospital in Allingham as of yesterday. He went missing during the June 25th protest and was found sickly along Gong Road on Sunday night. Now, we're looking at torture chambers here, where the frail, trembling man lay in the court on Sunday night along Gong Road, from where some border riders wheeled him into the emergency wing of Kenyatta National Hospital. The sickly man was Davis Lichuma, an activist who had gone missing following his arrest during last Thursday's demonstrations. Apparently, his captors had dumped him by the roadside, just like had been done to 6 other colleagues who have recounted their aura hotels and the hands of armed men in secret location many believe is deep inside a forest. Now, we're looking at hospital operations. I'll check that later. Then we're looking at Wamonyoro delegations push for Uhuru Gachagua deal, where the 45 retreat by Democracy for the Citizens Party leader Rigathi Gachagua as a revived course for a truce with former President Uhuru Kenyatta, with leaders visiting the former DP at the Wamonyoro residence, urging him to reconcile with Mr. Kenyatta. This is a story from page 7, and we're looking at DNT, and this is Healthy Nation, self-bath in modern Manyata. Then about health, we're looking at hospital operations. It owes counties 27 billion, and we are told all right, hospitals across the country are struggling under the weight of unpaid claims amounting to nearly 27 billion. A report by the Controller of Budget shows that the Social Health Authority owed county health facilities at least 26.87 billion as of March 31st, more than 3 times the 8.29 billion that was outstanding at the end of December 2025. And it's a story from page 4 and 5. Then I'll be giving you some details as far as the debt is concerned. Now, you're looking at counties where Nakuru County SHIF is at 2.4 billion SHA, and we're looking at SHA in debt amount in shillings, where Nakuru County SHIF is at 2.4 billion. Then NHIF is at 432.93 million. Kakamega County is at 1.3 billion, that is SHIF, and 241.4 million. We're looking at Jerry County and 632 million. Then Mombasa County, SHIF 357.1 million. Then to NHIF 239.6 million. Now Kiambu County 474.8 million. Then Garissa County, we're looking at 350.2 million. Then NHIF 79.28 million. Then Bomet County, we're looking at 367.9 million. Then when it comes to NHIF, it's at 54.2 million. Now Omabay County 390.3 million. Then Kajiado County 343.8 million. A continuation of the same. Kitui County 243.85 million. This is SHIF. Then NHIF 89.17 million. Siaya County 287.47 million. And then Kisumu County 171.3 million and 111 million NHIF debt. Then we're looking at Elgeyo Marakwet 107.86 million. Then Migori County 10.12 million. Then 175.29 million. This is NHIF. Now Nyandarua County at 183 million. Then Tharaka Nithi 151.1 million. This is SHIF. Then 22 million. This is at NHIF. Then Kericho County 78.6 78.6 million, and NHIF 87.13 million. Then Embu County 163.74 million as of SHIF. Now we're looking at Busia at 109.6 million, and this is SHIF. Then NHIF 25.26 million. Then Kwale County 127.3 million, and NHIF is nil. Baringo County 31 million, again 67.3 million NHIF. Marsabit County SHIF 70.45 million, 14.57 million NHIF. Then Machakos County SHIF nil, then NHIF 68.25 million as of NHIF. Then we're looking at Machakos, not Machakos, but Samburu County, SHIF nil, then 4 million at NHIF. Then Bugoma County, the second last, 358.5 million. Then the last is Kitsi at 80.8 million, and that is as of SHIF. Now, this page 2 of the Daily Nation this morning, return of abductions, where human rights groups say the finding of the 7 activists does not signal the end of crisis, and abduction victims speak of horrifying ordeals after arrest. And we're looking at something at a glance where but you can see Davis Chirchi, the activist, was tortured, is pictured. Activists, the plain clothes officers arrested them outside Parliament buildings before bundling them into a police truck, which made a fast stop at Nairobi Central Police Station. Now, 2 officers briefly highlighted and the station and returned before the truck sped off to Parklands Police Station. The lorry then stopped at a known location. The activists were then forced into 3 Subaru Outbacks at gunpoint and driven to a location inside the forest where they were held and tortured. Now, that is a revelation we're getting from there. And if you've ever read, was it a short story? I think is it a short story? I think so. In Kiswahili, it was called Mayae Waziri wa Maradhi na Hadithi Zingine. So there is a story about utawala wa kimla. So if you need to check that story, you can still compare it with what is reflected here on the Daily Nation this morning. Now we're looking at page 3, where NTV Uganda Daily Monitor unavailable as military siege enters second day, and that's a story we've been doing from yesterday, so you can make a follow-up of the same on the 4th page of the Daily Nation. Then we're looking at health, where governors say they are unable to pay for equipment and supplies, where hospitals in counties struggling under weight of 27 billion share debt. And I think I also covered the same. Then page 5 is all about health again. You can read it for yourself. Then page 6, we're looking at politics of development, where Nadaru Senator Methu sees politics behind the project, says it's ploy to entice locals to support UDA. Now, queries of a mega project before all Kalau vote. And yes, we can see Tourism Cabinet Secretary Rebecca Miano during the opening of the All Kalau Lands Office a week ago. Then page 7, we're looking at 2027 game plan, where Senator Newton claims some of Ruto's loyalists want to decamber to a DCP. Inside Wamunyoro retreat, delegations pushing for Uhuru Gachagua Paul deal. We're looking at 16th is when the All Kalau parliamentary by-election will be held. Now, the seat fell vacant following the death of a member of parliament, David Kiarao. Now, we're looking at page 8, where is Sapazo in an application seeking to suspend the arrest orders. Mr. Karich said he traveled to the U.S. for treatment. Now, Karich U.S. trip raises questions as court upholds jail term. Now, we wish to inform you that the county executive committee member is currently in the United States of America on official assignment. We kindly request that this his appearance before the committee be rescinded. This is from County Secretary Godfrey Akumali. Business from page 9. Page 10 is about a worrying situation where publishers of illegal books called out for undermining education, and self-unapproved books and other learning materials sparks alarm. And then Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development CEO Professor Charles Ongondo addresses journalists at Oneno Comprehensive School in Rangwe, Homa Bay County on June 5th, 2026. Parents protest over invasive searches at Girls School in Nairobi. And we're looking at St. George's Girls Secondary School in Nairobi on March 8th, 2024. Now, the small revelation is that parents returning their daughters to St. George's Girls School on Dennis Pritt Road in Nairobi yesterday were met by an unusual reporting routine following allegations that some students were subjected to invasive body searches before the school closed earlier this month. Now, instead of being received by teachers, students were directed by security guards to queue and assured where uniformed police officers and others in military fatigues stood watch. The school closed on June 5th after unrest in neighboring institutions. Parents say they only learned of the searches after collecting their daughters. So worrying. Now, page 11 is business. Page 12, we're looking at a lawsuit where new rules requires private and government vehicles older than 4 years to undergo annual inspections from July 1st. Now we're looking at a request here or an appeal where out in TSA car inspection rules, and this is a lawyer asking the same. Then we're looking at NTSA officer and traffic police inspect vehicles along Kenyatta Avenue in Mombasa on December 22nd. This is of last week. Business below on page 12. Page 13 is also business, and page 14 we're looking at a controversy and matter comes up for mention today. Judge to consider consolidating 3 petitions touching on the project fresh order issues against state lodge plan. You can read the story for yourself. Page 13 or 15 is about business. 16 is a collection of stories. 17 is IG's assurance are crucial. Then we're also looking at Cobb County wastage in leadership changes. Then we're looking at the caricature this morning on the Standard, on the Daily Nation. We will compensate a select category. Now we're looking at the charge sheet. We're looking at treason, and we're looking at charge sheet again. We're looking at terrorism, and we're looking at a Subaru set aside, and there are masked people there, and they are called abductors. And that's where you can see, if you just check the caricature, you can see Ezekiel Mutua there, you can see the incumbent there, and you can also see Murkomen there in the caricature, and you can see some briefcases there with money, and you can also see money thrust to the abductors. And that's where they are saying we will compensate a select category. How can an abductor be compensated from the message on the caricature this morning? We are ending there. This is the newspaper review, and this is Morning Live on EBN TV. My name is Jeffrey Kimayo Somba. Thank you for watching the 2 segments. What's coming up next is Your Faith Today with Reverend Felix Kapoy. Stick around. May God bless you and have yourselves a great day.